Hola, hola. Welcome to the Viva la Mami podcast. I am your host, Jessica Cuevas. And this is my first solo episode in I don't know how long. As you've probably heard in previous episodes, I think for the last 5 episodes, I've been sitting down with my husband as we shared more information about our vida here in Mexico. And I decided to have this solo episode just so that I can kind of share my perspective and give you kind of an update about what has been going on. We've been living in Mexico since July, and we have hit the 4-month mark of us fully living la vida here in Mexico. And I just wanted to give you all an update as far as with how I'm feeling, how we're doing, what it's really like now that we are kind of past that honeymoon stage and really living la vida here as Mexican dual citizens. And so I'm really excited to share and give you kind of an update. I don't have anything scripted. I just wanted to kind of speak from the heart and share with you how we are doing and how I'm feeling and what we have been up to. And so we have been in Mexico for 4 months. It's technically going to be 4 months. We officially moved to Mexico, when was it? July 27th, I think that was the date. And we stayed for a couple days at my grandparents' rancho in Guanajuato, which is about an hour and 15 minutes away from León. And we officially moved into our home here in León on August 1st. So we still haven't hit the 4-month mark yet living in this house that we're renting, but it's definitely been close to 4 months in total since living in Mexico. And I can tell you, we are not tourists. And a lot of the times when people reach out to me, they're like, ay, qué bonito es tu vida, and they're probably thinking that my life is just going to the beach or just going out and things like that. But no, we are a part of the community. We are now just kind of immersed into the life here in Mexico. Now, I can only speak specific to León, Guanajuato, because that's where we're at. We are basically in central Mexico, right by, El Bajío. So it's like the lowest altitude of Mexico. So we're surrounded by a bunch of mountains, and we're not in a beach. We're not in a resort. In fact, I want to go to a resort and a beach sometime soon, but that will be during the kids' breaks or when Alex has PTO time, because he still has an American 9-to-5 job. And so for us, we are not living la vida as if we were on vacation. We are definitely hustling. We are in a routine. We are just as if we lived in the United States, but obviously it's in a whole different setting, in a whole different environment. And so that's something that I kind of wanted to share, because a lot of times people just think that we have this freedom and the flexibility. And while I do, just because I don't have a traditional 9-to-5, at least right now, I'm still all over the place, right? I'm managing my own business. I freelance. I have a contract job that is temporary, and I'm a mom. And so that makes me very busy. So no, I'm not just laying down and reading a book. I wish I had that time. And it's still an adjustment period. I think the first 3 months have definitely been all about adjustments and, trying to get into the rhythm of things. And while a lot of that has been kind of integrated into how our life used to be back home in Chicago with our kids, some parts are a little different in terms of, just being outside more. And I think it's more environmental that has really made a big difference in how we're doing and how we're feeling in our days. However, Alex might have different feelings just because, again, he has a 9-to-5 and he's basically stuck at home all day. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference between us two as adults. But overall, I think we're doing well. I think with this new adjustment, this new environment, the kids are definitely loving it. Oh my gosh. They are just having a blast. Like just this evening today, we went out to dinner, and that's something that we've been able to do more, just like having more of that family time during the evenings after school and after Alex gets out of work. Like we are spending more time outside because we're able to compare like this time around in Chicago. Like it's kind of impossible to go outside because it's either raining or super cold, and just the weather is it's a little rough in Chicago during this time of year. But for us, like now that we are experiencing what fall is, and most likely in the winter, it's going to feel very different. But we basically went out to dinner today, and it was outside, and the kids were just running. They made new friends. They always make new friends. And they're just having the time of their lives. Like I am honestly so glad that we did this. I'm so glad that we took on this big leap and moved to a different country, and especially in a place like León, Guanajuato, where the climate is very like moderate. Nothing really changes climate-wise during the year. And so this is basically how it'll feel like, where it's going to be like 70, 80 degrees during the day when the sun's out. Right now, because it's fall, it's getting cooler. Like, yes, it does get cold at night when the sun is down. So at least we have that kind of like a difference between the temperatures, but it's definitely going to feel a lot different come winter, when usually back home we kind of suffer. I wouldn't say that we have seasonal depression, but as I have gotten older, I just like couldn't stand the winter. And so it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll give you all an update once winter comes. But for now, the kids are having a good time. We are too. Speaking of weather, like it's definitely felt a little different. Like I'm used to seeing the changes of like the color schemes of like the trees and leaves falling. Like that is my favorite part about living in the Midwest, where we get to experience all 4 seasons. In Chicago right now, like I'm sure it's very beautiful, and where you get to see the leaves, and even though it does get cold, like it's still moderate enough to go outside and have a walk. And so here it still feels like the same, right? It still feels like summer, except for the mornings where it's a little cold. I think the coldest the other day went as low as like 45, which for me it's nothing because we're used to like -10-degree weather in Chicago. But yeah, like the other day, I honestly, like, I guess I kind of felt a little irritated with the sun. The sun is right in front of you. And maybe that day I was like overstimulated, where the kids were just like all over me. And then I had this, like the sun literally in front of my face. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I just want to like be in a dark room. And so, yeah, so I've definitely felt like the heaviness of the sun. The sun is closer to you. And yeah, it's pretty intense, I would say. Like unless you are in a shaded area, you're fine. But if you're in front of the sun, especially when you're driving, or for me, like when I pick up the kids, it gets very hot, and I'm just like like I want to be in a cooler, darker space. And I guess this is probably my body adjusting to a different climate and also different altitudes. Even though like we're in El Bajío, Chicago is still like the plains, right? Like we're not nowhere near mountains. And aquí in Guanajuato, we are surrounded by mountains, and maybe the altitude and the levels are different. Same thing with the air quality. And so I think I've definitely felt my body a lot more different than we compared to when we first moved in. Like I think it's probably going through this transitional phase of like adjusting to the environment and the climate and the altitude and all of that. But overall, I feel good, even though my body is kind of transitioning into this new sort of phase, I guess, of like living in Mexico. Spiritually, like emotionally, like internally inside, like I feel good. And I think I'm not as pressured as I was in the US. I feel like the US is just like this constant wheel that you're just like a hamster in a wheel, right? Where you're just like constantly going and going and going, going. And I feel like here in Mexico, I'm able to just like relax and take a couple breaths, even though I'm still in a heavy routine. I'm still in a heavy schedule with pickups and drop-offs and just trying to get everything done within a given day. For some reason, it just feels different. And that's something that a lot of people mentioned to me, especially for those that had moved outside of the US, where they're like, you're still going to hustle and everything, but the essence of time is going to be different. And that's how I've been feeling. And I feel like for some reason, I'm adding so many things into my schedule because it feels like I have time. And yeah, like it's just very different. I also feel pretty good with just like being closer to Alex. And I think it's because our kids are in school and I feel like I don't get to create like activities and trying to like stimulate them and trying to keep them busy. Like I allow the first part of the day to myself. And even with Alex, like even though he's working, like I give him company and we kind of chit chat and I like that because he works from home. Like we get to like connect without any interruptions, right? And it's nice to just have 5 hours to myself during the morning. And so with that alone, like I'm able to do work. I'm able to do laundry, right? That's for me, that's important. I prefer to do laundry in the mornings. And that also allows me to just focus on myself. So not recently, but I think like a month in when we moved in León, we subscribed for a gym membership. And so I've been going to the gym. And so I am able to just like focus on myself. And I really like that. Compared when I was in Chicago, like even last year, even though Diego was in school for 3 hours, I was still home with Mateo. And I felt like I just didn't have enough time to even give him the attention because I was doing other things. And so, yeah, like I just feel like I am having more ability to focus on my things in the morning. And then once the kids are done with school, I can then focus my time to them. And overall, that gives me the sense of like happiness and like fulfillment, I guess, in my parenting, but also in my own well-being. And I'm loving it. I am seriously loving it. And had we been in the United States, like we wouldn't be able to do this. Like I wouldn't be able to go to the gym. We wouldn't be able to like afford childcare specifically for Mateo because he's still not preschool aged. And in Illinois, preschool can be free for some families and for others, it's not. It's just like an option. And so, yeah, like we're able to do this. And that's something that I love. And yeah, I'm having a good time. As far as with like how my family is doing, everyone's doing great. Like I said, the kids are loving it. They love school. My gosh. And school in itself is like very different compared to the United States. Let me tell y'all, like there's just so many activities. There's a lot of communication that is just between families, the parents. So WhatsApp is like literally blowing up every single day. I feel like almost every hour because of like things that we need to be privy about. Like, for example, the kids are going to do like this holiday show, right? And so I'm really excited for that, even though we're going to miss it because we are going to La Ciudad de Mexico to see Bad Bunny. But I'm very excited, at least like in the preparation of the show. And so, like they're just giving us all of these instructions on like how to prepare, how to dress up your kids. All the kids are going to be uniformed like exactly alike. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I guess that's just how it is when you have kids in school. But I wasn't expecting just like the level of involvement that you have to commit to with your kids. Like, not that I'm saying that I wouldn't have been involved in school if we had stayed in the United States, pero I feel like there's like higher expectations for parents to just like be present with their school-aged kids. And one example is recently the parents got invited to like a workshop that the school hosted. And it was a very interesting workshop. It basically had to do about like how you should dedicate time to your kid and play with them, like spend at least 15 minutes, how like screen time is not really beneficial to your kids. Obviously, all of the stuff that we know and that research shows, right? But I just love that there were so many families. I mean, there were so many dads, so many couples together, even with like their baby infants who came. And I believe it said it was voluntary. I don't think that it was a requirement for parents to show up to this workshop because it was offered. And even though it was like voluntary, like so many people showed up. And I'm just so impressed. The parents here in Mexico are just like so invested in their kids' education. And it's not just like taking them to school, but it's almost like they have a sense of responsibility to be an involved parent. And for me, that is awesome. Definitely like guilt comes in, especially for Alex, because he is not able to have that flexibility to be there. And I think it's just the US culture. Like, again, he's still maintaining his US job and he is still conforming to like that corporate America type of role. Had it been like him having a job in Mexico, there would be more flexibility because honestly, like almost all of the parents that were in that workshop were in their uniform or they were professionally dressed. They were going to work after the presentation. But the fact that this workshop, when I asked the teacher like how long this was going to take, she's like an hour plus 30 minutes probably for a Q&A. No, this workshop took like almost 3 hours. I kid you not. And still, parents were still there. And so I just love that families are able to have that flexibility because their jobs are not like demanding them to stay in their jobs. And so that's a difference too, where, you know, the culture is a lot different because I think for companies and just like society in general in Mexico, like they prioritize on families. Like families come first. And that's why like the parents don't have any issues with, you know, staying for like an almost 3-hour workshop. So I thought that was cool. As far as with what we're doing right now, I mean, we are getting ready for the holidays. So that's kind of like the main focus of like, we're preparing for Navidad, las posadas. So also the kids' school is kind of having us prepare for that too. We are hosting Thanksgiving. So we're still keeping some traditions from the United States and we're just merging them or bringing them over here. Not that we're trying to colonize or whatever, but Thanksgiving has always been a tradition for me and my family. Not that I'm saying that we are promoting, you know, genocide, but it's more so like spending family time. Like we're spending that quality time with family. Y incluso tengo una tía and a prima here who live in León and we're inviting them. And my prima's daughter who was born in the US, but they moved here when she was like in kindergarten is just very excited to celebrate Thanksgiving again because she was like 5 years old when she last like celebrated this and now she's 11. So it had been years now that she didn't have the opportunity to like, you know, celebrate Thanksgiving. And so I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for Navidad. We're definitely going to spend it in El Rancho where my family is from. So my grandma usually does like posadas and I'm just excited to like be a part of la comunidad and create meals and, you know, do the traditional things that we had done at home, like back in the US. But obviously they're from Mexico. And so seeing this and living it and just experiencing Christmas for the first time in Mexico, I am very excited. And I feel like people are just nuts. I feel like I'm in Whoville right now. Everyone is just obsessed with Christmas. Like literally, this is middle of November and early November, actually. Like as soon as Dia de Muertos was over, everyone started to decorate the Navidad. Like, I kid you not. The malls, the shopping centers, like the storefronts, the neighbors, like everyone has been decorating. And I'm just here with one pair of lights. Like, I'm not going to decorate as much, but hey, kudos to you. So I think everyone just gets very excited for Navidad, and that's something that I definitely heard from the locals here. And as we probably know, growing up as Mexicanos or even Latinos in general, like Christmas is such a big thing for us, and it's just so cool seeing it and witnessing it. And I just keep wondering, where do people bring the money? Like, how are they making money to afford all of these things? I just want to know. Okay. I just want to know. I want to know what the locals are doing so that way I can, meet them somewhere. But yeah, like I'm very excited for the holidays. Like I said, we're going to La Ciudad de Mexico, so we're going to see Bad Bunny, and we are so excited just because it'll be me and Alex, and we're going to do like a quick little getaway for us to spend some time together. I'm also going to meet up with another prima who's from Chicago, and she's traveling with her amiga to see the concert as well. So there's a lot of good things that are happening, and it's always exciting to see family that is traveling from the US and coming back home for a little bit of time. Like one of mis primas came to El Rancho de mi abuela during Dia de Muertos, and it's just really cool to just like know that they are visiting and we're like staying here. I think that's cool. Like, I think that makes me feel legit that I am literally living here, and that I'm like the local one, right? And we're the ones that are probably providing transportation to the airport or like the tour guides, ¿verdad? And so that's what makes it really cool and different this time around. And so as far as with like how I'm feeling with just like things that have been going on right now in our world, it's definitely been challenging. And this is something that I have been struggling and navigating with my emotions and my thoughts and my feelings. It's really hard to know and see, at least through social media and people that I know, it's really hard to see that people are suffering right now back home in the US. It's still my home. Okay. Like, even though I left, it's still my home. It's my hometown. But it's just really difficult to know that there's so many people struggling right now. And that is because of the current situation that has been going on, with deportations, people being detained for no reason, people just being assaulted. And it really hurts me porque we made the choice and the decision to flee the US for different reasons. It wasn't because of deportations. It wasn't because of like threats on that. Like, it was because we made the choice to have a different life. And in a way, I'm feeling a little bit of guilt, and I've been struggling with that. And that is because it hurts knowing that people in my community are struggling right now. And it's not just the whole issue on like ICE and deportations, but it's also like the economy and affordability, and just like a lot of people have been reaching out to me, and they've been saying how horrible they've been. And I feel bad. Like, I genuinely feel guilty because here I am. I basically escaped this momentum that is going on right now in the United States. And it's not like I want to disconnect myself or my family from the US and from like the people that are still there. And so it makes it very, I don't know, it just, for me at least, or maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know. But for me, I feel complex with it porque obviously my home is still the US, and we fled it to have a different life, a better life, really. And it's not like I am purposely ignoring the people that are in the US or, the problems that are going on right now. In a way, it was kind of like perfect timing, I guess. It happened to be the right time to move. And yeah, like, even though it was an awesome decision that we made, I still feel like I still feel guilt. And I don't want to make myself seem like I am better than everyone else. Like, I don't want to make myself seem like I'm having the best life and being on vacation mode every day, right? Because that's not the reality. But the fact that we are in a different country, despite everything that we left behind, it's giving us an opportunity to just be more present with our kids. For me, I'm present with myself and Alex. Like, I'm only worried about my family, and we're just able to focus on our own family unit and our own problems instead of just like what's around us. And I think it's because we are in a different culture. We are in a different society. We are in a different country. And yeah, I've been battling with that. And I just wanted to share that, like, in a way, I feel really grateful that we've been able to have this opportunity to move outside of the US. I feel lucky. I feel blessed. I feel great. But then again, whenever I hear people talk about their issues, or, whenever I see things on social media, and I'm just like, man, like, fuck, I feel horrible. And part of me, it's like, how can I bring my people, like anyone that I am cool with, how can I bring them here? Or how can I help them to see the other side of things, right? That the grass is always greener on the other side. And I hope that I'm not here to sound, I don't know, insensitive, right, about the situation. But if for some reason a little voice is telling you, just move, or just go somewhere, leave the US, then take that as a sign. And I've shared this in previous episodes of the Living in Mexico series. We share a lot about what we've done and how we've navigated this transition, moving from the US to Mexico as a family of 4. And so please take these tips of advice and, kind of like our experience as a way that it is possible. It can be doable. And sometimes we just have to push the fear aside and just like listen to ourselves, and obviously talk with your partner, talk to your family about this, like your kids or whatever, if they're older. But know that there's another side of this that can help you feel a little bit more relieved. I'm not saying to leave everything behind, because I still feel connected to Chicago. I still feel connected to the US, but at least right now, my priorities are a little different. And I'm being kind of like present in the moment. Like, I'm not looking back. I'm not looking forward. Like, honestly, I don't know what we're going to do like a year from now, or, how many months do we have left with our car permit? We have 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we have like 8 months left for us to renew our permit, or if we want to legalize it here so that we can just stay here forever. I don't know. I don't know that. I definitely don't know if we're going to, go back or stay here. But all I know is that I am present right now. And with us not living in such a toxic culture, it's allowing me and my family to really be present with each other. And so even if you want that, like that little teeny tiny benefit of, moving outside of the US, then take this as a sign. Like, maybe it's time for you and your family to move. Just saying. And if in case you are a descendant of Mexican parents, I have my newest digital products, and they are called How to Get Dual Citizenship in Mexico. I am offering my e-guide. So it's a digital 15-page guide that will walk you through the process. If you kind of want to do it alone without anyone helping you, it's kind of like a list of check boxes that you can fill up. Then you can have the e-guide, and that is $15. But if you want someone to kind of walk you through it and give you a more like step-by-step approach, then I am offering my course, my digital course, and that involves 5 different modules that will literally walk you through the process specifically on how to get dual citizenship in Mexico. And I share a lot of information that I definitely did research on, but it was mostly based on my experience and the experience of others that I've guided and helped through this process and getting their dual citizenship. And that one is $75, but it also includes the e-guide as well. So if you're interested, just go to my website, which is vivalamami.com/shop, and you'll see my products there. So please help a sister out, because I definitely did this out of love and out of me wanting to just bring my people here to Mexico at least to get dual citizenship. And that way you can decide to come back to the motherland whenever you want without any restrictions or anything like that. So get my e-guide or digital course at vivalamami.com/shop. Yeah, so overall, these are the updates that I have for you. Let me know if you have any questions or anything else that you want to hear more about or see more about, whether if it's on social media or YouTube. I am in this kind of new era of living in Mexico and being a mommy of 2 little ones, and really what it's like in terms of being a Mexican American, going back to the motherland, going back to where our family is from. And I'm also creating content in Spanish, and that way los que hablan español can connect with me, and that way they can understand my perspective and understand why we decided to move to Mexico. So I would appreciate you to subscribe, follow, download the episodes. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast, so that way mommies can find Viva la Mami, so that way they don't feel isolated in their motherhood journey, and just to at least live vicariously through our experience and our vida here in Mexico. I also want to give you a quick update, and that is I will not be posting any new episodes until the new year. And the reason why is because we're basically in the holidays. I mean, next week is Thanksgiving, and after that, it's like a blur just trying to prepare and get things ready for the holidays. Also, my kids are off school for 3 weeks. I kid you not, 3 weeks. They have a 3-week holiday break, which I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll probably send them over to my parents in El Rancho. But yeah, I just wanted to give you that heads up that you won't be hearing from me for almost 2 months, but I also need a break. I've been throwing a bunch of podcast episodes weekly for the past, I don't know how many months. And as a solopreneur and mama and a wifey and a woman overall, I definitely deserve a little bit of a break. And so you won't be hearing any new episodes until early January. And so I'll make sure to announce that on social media. If you haven't yet followed me, I am on Instagram, TikTok. On Instagram, I am Viva la Mami. And on TikTok, I am Viva la Mami _ because someone took my name. But yes, you are more than welcome to follow me and check me out on social media, because I'll be posting a lot through that source. But for now, I am taking a brief break from podcasting, so you won't be hearing from me, but I do want to wish you a super wonderful holiday season. I know that this year has been especially hard on our comunidad. And for those of you who have been directly impacted by family separations, I am here for you. I am with you. I see you. I really hope that justice gets served. I really hope that you still get to enjoy the holidays in whichever way or form that you will celebrate. I'm sending you a little bit of magic to you, and that way you can have that spirit up, because I am hopeful that things will get better. And so, yeah, I hope that you all enjoy the holiday season. I wish you nothing but peace, love, and success, especially in the new year. Hope 2026 is better for you and all of us in our comunidad. But yeah, if you have any new topics that you want to hear on the podcast, please let me know. I do have 2 forms that you can fill out. One of them is if you have any topics that you want me to talk about. Another one is if you have any experts that could potentially be guests on the show. So feel free to fill that out as well. This is with the intent of having Latina moms to be a part of a community where oftentimes we are misrepresented or where our voices aren't heard, right? We've always heard that term, calladita te ves más bonita. And so let's dismantle that, especially through a podcast, right? Our voices definitely deserve to be outspoken and heard. So yeah, I hope that you can still follow me, listen to previous episodes. I do have over 140 something episodes for you to listen if you're new here. So please catch up during the holidays, but I wish you all well y nos vemos in the new year. All right, amiga. Well, thank you so much for listening. Hasta la próxima y nos vemos in the next episode.